Welcome to a 2013 GLIAC season preview for Saginaw Valley State University. I'm J.J. Boehm, joined by SVSU head football coach Jim Collins. And Coach, guys haven't returned yet. Training camp's still a few days away, but I'm sure everybody's eager to get started.
It's been really good seeing guys throughout the summer. Obviously, a lot of guys on campus working out, and the excitement of the start of the season. And it's an exciting time in Saginaw Valley, no doubt about it.
And this is one of those seasons where, you start looking across this team, a lot of seniors, particularly in key positions.
Absolutely. And when you've got a senior coming back at your quarterback position and your leading receivers are all seniors, I think that lends itself to some things offensively. But then you also look at how many seniors we have on the offensive line, which is one of those positions where development and experience is so important. And the same thing can be said defensively.
So a lot of experience coming back for SVSU, and you'll certainly need it out of the gate because since you've come to SVSU, tried to make a point of scheduling national powerhouses in Division II football. This season, no exception. You open at Northwest Missouri State.
We're really excited about it, only because we like playing teams that are ranked high in preseason polls and had outstanding seasons the year before. And it was Cal PA a few years ago, Valdosta last year, and they went on to win the national championship, and a Northwest Missouri team who played in 5 straight national championships in the mid-2000 era. So we're excited about the opportunity, and obviously all of our players are looking forward to it.
Let's talk a little about your team, and you started talking about the offense. I think people are expecting you to put the ball in the air a little bit when you mentioned you've got your top 3 receivers returning, all seniors, quarterback returning, all 5 starters on the offensive line returning. That's a pretty good combination.
Exactly, and I think the big thing is how much experience. We're not talking about guys that started for the first time last year. We're talking about a lot of players that have 2 and 3 years worth of experience in the program, have been through some adversity, and I think that's one of the great things about having an experienced team. They know how to handle adversity because football is a tough game and our conference is very competitive. But having John Jennings back at quarterback, he's done some great things in terms of throwing the football, also running the football, but having the weapons at his disposal. Jeff Janis and Michael Albrecht and Mark Thrash all coming back as seniors that have been playing with John for a while now. I think is good. So there's a lot of people for him to get the football to, and I think John's gonna have a feeling of comfort and confidence to be able to stand back behind 5 starters on the offensive line, who I thought last year did a great job of protecting them, and we're expecting even better this year.
And then the other 2 positions on the offensive side of the football are kind of the reverse, where your top 2 tight ends both graduated, your top 2 running backs both graduated. So should be some interesting competition in fall camp, I would think, for those spots.
And I think that's the best thing about fall camp. Really 2 things. Number one, you want to get your veterans polished up and get them back in the swing of things. But the real part that I enjoy the most is the competition for those spots that have been vacated, especially by the group of seniors that vacated those spots, the Sesich and Hoyle, and then Tim Hogan and Ronnie Lark. So I think we're going to have great competition. We've got some great players that are going to compete for those spots. Maybe not as much experience as you'd like to have, but that's college football. You're always going to be getting new guys ready to play, and I'm excited about that.
Switching to the defensive side of the football, you did graduate 3 seniors, kind of one at each level of the defense. Nate Snyder at defensive end, Grant Caserta at linebacker, and Jeff Heath at safety, who's currently battling for a position with the Dallas Cowboys. But you return 8 starters on defense, and that's got to be quite a nice luxury as well.
Exactly, and the nice thing about defense is that we did have players playing those spots. Grant Caserta has played a ton of linebacker for us. But we've been able to rotate some other guys in and get some other guys experience, like a Trevor Blattner, a Dwight Trammer, guys that had experience on special teams, got into some ball games and got some snaps at inside linebacker. So there's some battle-tested guys there. Nate Snyder had a heck of a career for us, but once again, we've got guys that play significant minutes. So I think that experience, we feel good about who's going to be replacing Nate Snyder. And then, you talk about Jeff Heath. He's with the Cowboys right now. So far, things are going really well, and we wish him the best. And we do have guys that have played safety and have played in the secondary. But the big thing is to have someone that leads our defense like Jeff did. And I think the same thing about Grant. Grant was a great leader in the heart of our defense. So replacing that leadership, I think, is going to be critical. But I like the guys we have coming back. And much like offense, we've got a lot of guys that have been around for a while. Ryan Bush, and Jordan Mako. And, we're talking about guys who've been here a while: Brian Johnson, John Bryant, D'Angelo Paris, Dave Toussaint, just to name a few. So I think we've got a lot of guys with a lot of experience that are looking forward to this season.
And what do you do to get this team ready now? Because, again, when you do have a senior-laden club, there's also generally that feeling, hey, we want to go out on the highest possible note.
Exactly, and that's what we've been working for since the season ended last year. I think two things with last season. Number one, it was a great way to finish up the year with a big victory in our last game, but it was bittersweet because we didn't get an opportunity to play in the national playoffs, and that's one of our goals. Our goal is to win the conference, win the national championship, and I think that has been the motivating force for our seniors and our whole football club since December. And I think we're a determined group. We've got hard workers, very competitive individuals, and as long as they're committed to doing things better than they've ever been done before, and that's the commitment we've made as a senior group in a football program, I think we've got a great opportunity for great things to happen.
How much does it help, too, in a season like this where, because of the way the academic calendar falls and the way that the football schedule falls, training camp's going to be a little shorter than it typically is, not just for SVSU, but for everybody. So I would have to think that having that many guys returning with game experience is going to help you be ready a little bit sooner than maybe some other teams.
I think there are some advantages. I think you mentioned the one big one. I think having experienced guys when you don't have as many practices. Everyone has as many days to get ready, but you lose practices with the start of start of classes 1 week earlier. But I think the other part of it, JJ, is as coaches, we tend sometimes to lose the importance of having fresh bodies. And during preseason camp, you really get beat up. So I think for a team like ours, we can sacrifice the amount of practices. I think that's going to be a good thing because we have an experienced group. And the other part of it is I think we can stay fresher without the pounding of numerous preseason practices.
Because, again, you wouldn't be able to have the same type of rugged camp you sometimes have.
Sure.
and then have guys physically recover. What do you think are some of the keys for your football club to be successful? Because one of the things we've also seen now is that with the GLIAC going to divisional play, it's rugged every week, and particularly when you get into GLIAC North play, and you really need to be able to continue to play well for every week because you don't get any weeks where you get to recover.
Well, I think the main emphasis has to be that every single play matters. And we're not just talking offense and defense. We've got an experienced kicker coming back that's going to make a difference in our program with the Scott Stanford. And we've got a new punter we've got to get ready with the loss of Bronco Hamilton. So, I think we have to really take the approach that every single play is going to matter all season long, whether it's practice or the games. And if it's a kicking game play, if it's an offensive play or defensive play, it's going to be really important because the margin in our league, especially with as competitive as the teams are, you can't slip up. One play could be the difference between winning and losing. So I think as long as we emphasize that and keep emphasizing that and keep that fresh in our players' minds, that's gonna be really important for us. The other part of it is the job of the coaches, I think, is to really do a great job of developing our depth. And I think depth is so important in our league because, as you said, it's a rugged schedule. We're going to play a top 10 football team to start the season. And then we're going to go through a GLIAC season of playing good football teams, physical football games, and guys are going to get banged up, and we've got to have the type of depth to withstand those minor injuries or major injuries and still not use that as an excuse in order to compete at the highest level.
What should fans expect from SVSU football in 2013?
Well, I think they can expect an exciting team. I think they're going to expect a team that's committed to doing things right, and more than anything, they're going to see a team that knows how to finish. And we've focused on that. We've worked very hard on it. That's about conditioning and a mindset. So we're going to be physical. We're going to finish, and it's going to be an exciting year.
Well, we look forward to it. The season kicks off for the Cardinals September 5th at Northwest Missouri, and then they return home. Their first home contest will be September 14th against Malone. We hope you have enjoyed this 2013 season preview for Saginaw Valley State University.